Okay, folks. Let's pick up on the next T-35. Make sure this is charged all the way. Never know when you're going to need that. Okay. Next one up is Lucky 14. See, I think this should be removable for easier access. Yep. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this side. Let's get the turret out of here. And remove this side as well. And we're gonna go ahead and paint the track. It's not like I can't reach it with it being on there. It's just going to take a lot longer trying to paint around stuff. Let's see. Yeah, this one should be fine. Get a little bit of water here. That way we can kind of thin at our leisure. And the SS Campbell Black Brown is this one. Shouldn't need more of that. Yeah, and I actually found another one of these in the garage. Crazy. Figure if I can hear something, you guys can hear it as well. My hearing's shot. Huh? And I found another KV1 turret. And a KV2 turret. Good morning, Barnes. What is your little symbol? It's just, oh, there's just a little. I'm thinking of somebody else. I know what yours is. Actually, I was thinking of somebody who hasn't come by in a long time. They have the icon's really small, and especially since I don't have my glasses on, I got to get my face all up in it to be able to see it. And then when I see it, I actually see it better, but than I would with corrected vision. I should say, I see it better than I used to with corrected vision. Okay, now we'll do the same thing on the other side. It's a long process, but man, this looks freaking amazing. They look better than the real ones. Meaning the real one would probably be more uniform colored. But yeah, I cleaned out the garage and I found out that I had another one. I didn't clean up the garage. I organized a little bit. Even though it was really, really hot. I went through some of those things that I got at the last show, including a bunch of plastic figures. And I was like, oh, let's see if they got a figure. They've got the Airfix classic German infantry. Let's see if they've got a figure of that officer that looks really cool. You know, it's got that Han Solo type pose, or really Han Solo has that officer's pose. Nope. Because there was lots of that set, but they don't have that figure. Or he could have had it as, his Luger could have been broken anyway, so it didn't really do any good. But that's not a very good, and everybody knows which one I'm talking about, which set. That's not a very brilliant set of figures. Some of them look really good. The rifleman that's shooting, the rifleman that's kind of has his hung around the midsection and he's charging. Those are all good figures. The guy, it looks like he's all going for a hike with his rifle on the back. That guy looks okay, a bit static, but he looks okay. But that machine gun with the MG-34, it's probably should be a 34 if it's not, slung over his shoulder like that. That's a not very not a very convincing figure of a machine gunner, of a light machine gunner. The guy that's grabbing his face, not very useful figure. I'd say the Germans that are surrendering in the Africa Corps set are probably more useful than that guy. Unless you put him on like a mortar team or something. I don't know what you could do, but having a figure that looks injured is usable. Having a figure that just got injured, not very useful. Unless you started the scenario. Okay, well, this is a scenario where Hans just got hit in the face with such and such. All right. Let's start. And it's probably one of the most unpainted figures. That'd be an interesting thing. Figures from your childhood that everybody had. Which is the one that's that was the least painted by anybody? That guy with his face injured is probably pretty high up there. I got a lot of Schwimmwagens and Kettenkrads. Not a lot, but I got 3 or 4 of them to assemble. Only one of them was actually of my own doing. The other ones I just got recently in hey, take all this stuff. But just like when I was doing DVA stuff, I don't need to worry about that stuff right now. We've got quite a bit of time here on the T-35s to get them complete. Well, we're halfway done-ish. We fixed this one. And we're going to do the other 2. And put them on bases. Senna, welcome. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this back on just for protection, so we don't actually touch any of this wet paint. It's got lots of time to dry before we end up dry brushing this, because now we're going to go on a long trek that's called pin wash all these little details on this tank. I don't know why there's all this splatter on this. Little bits of splatter from there. Spittle. Alright. Let's get one of these brushes. Yep. And put some Nuln Oil down. Just mix this stuff up. This is the last little bit of it, isn't it? Actually, I still have an Agrax Earthshade. And a little bit of this one. Let's mix it up. Let me use the dark tone, which is a replacement for it. This brush is too big, actually. Maybe not. So this color is more, it's less watery than the Nuln Oil. I really like their tones. I'm not a huge fan of their paint. I don't hate their paint. I'm just not a huge fan of their paint. But these little wash things are really nice. So because they're thicker, you can put something on a vertical surface and it's not going to slide as much. I usually start with the lines up here, but yeah, let's go ahead and do the rivets this time. And I wish I could just cover this thing in this black and it had the same effect, but it doesn't. I'm going to do all these little vertical things and then we'll do a line across the top. Let's try to leave it a little bit more efficient. I like this better than the other one, than the normal one. It's a good thing because I don't have a source for the other one. The best life. Are you living it? Are you living your best life every day? Had a really good day yesterday. And the reason I had a really good day is I did a lot of different stuff. Didn't leave the house, but did a lot of different stuff, so it just made my day longer. I did some of this in the morning, did some laundry, listened to some audiobook while I did some laundry, watched some TV with the wife, played some video games. Cleaned the garage a little bit. You needed to take down the birdhouse. There was these birds that built this birdhouse here in our entryway of our house. And they had little birdies. And they just flew away about a week ago, I think. Well, the daughter missed them being in Europe, but you're trying. There you go. I'm gonna try to have a good day today, although I'm not putting any money on it. Hopefully they'll close up the car and I forgot what they said it was, a clutch bearing or something like that. That was worn out. It was covered, but they had to keep the car. At least I didn't have to go in for like a separate trip. Okay, this whole side's done. That seemed a hell of a lot more efficient. Do the same thing here. You know, I go and I'm like, I'm not excited to do this because these tanks aren't very exciting looking. There's just nothing I can do about it other than just flat out just make shit up, right? It wouldn't take much to make it more exciting. Like put a number on the side of the turret of that one. Okay, good. This one, put a red star on it, or or 2 red stars or something. Just add a little bit of personality to it. But I don't know how the hell these guys would communicate with each other. Or how? Oh yeah, I'm in that tank. Which one? Oh, the one over there. Which one? Oh, the green one. The one with red star. They all have red stars. They all. That's why I paid this 14. It was one of the few that had any numbers on the side of them. Throw-out bearing. Yeah, we were trimming some bushes the other day and found the nest with some baby birds. Yeah, I leave them alone. I mean that's just cool. And they were pooping everywhere, and that's fine. That all comes off. It's not a big deal. At the other house, we had like these little finches they didn't make a nest, but in the little corner, they would roost there. I don't think they ever pooped there, but they were just trying to get away from the hawks, I'd imagine. Especially when it was cold. So, went out and did that. We'd bought some lights. I spent about an hour and 15 minutes. I was expecting it to be excruciatingly hot, and it was hot, but there was a little bit of a breeze, and it made enough of a difference. It was still like close to 95 degrees or something like that. I was like, well, I'm already hot and sweaty. Let's throw away boxes in the garage, which, is always a collection point. And kind of straighten out the models and stuff that I have in there that I got recently, just to kind of see what's available to go next. So we definitely won't be on Tuesday night. We had this, at the other house, we had these bushes that were in front of the window that led to the master bedroom. These two of them were holly bushes. The two on the end were hollies. The one in the middle was the two in the middle were. It all looked like one bush, but it was 4 different bushes. I don't know what the ones in the middle were, but the middle ones in the middle were didn't poke you. You know, you didn't. They weren't so likely to be poked. And I had this little snake that would come up, and I'm not a snake hater. I just wish they didn't startle her. Like, we have a skink living in the garage, or was living in the garage. Probably about that long, blue tail. They just startle the shit out of you, you know. Leaving little turds in places. Even these dry, toad-like turds. Meaning they look like the turds that a toad craps out too. It's like, I wonder if I'm going to go in a store and put some things around the garage to dissuade them from coming in. They don't like peppermint and eucalyptus. Found they didn't like eucalyptus either. I don't want to spray a bunch of oils and shit like that everywhere. I mean, this house is relatively brand new. But he came in and didn't eat that monster bug. That monster beetle. The ambassador. Morning, everyone. 45 degrees northern Michigan. Of course it feels great. Yeah. Wish I had that. I bet it's 72 or something like that outside. I can't stand the heat. $65. What you really need to look at is feels like 70. It's supposed to get up to 94, but 94, not 94 feels like it's supposed to get up to 94. '60s at night. That's too much air conditioning. But at least the electric bill here is about a third of the one in town. Went swimming in the Great Lakes over the weekend. But those are always cold. By my standards. There's these people that we know, and they're exactly the polar opposite that we are. They don't mind their house being hot, but when they go swimming, they want it to be cold. And I'm like, I'm the opposite. I'm not getting in the water if it's cold, and I'm not gonna sit around, with my balls sweating all day long. Like, perpetual swamp ass. Like, nope. And the thing is not only do I dislike the heat, but with the heat come bugs. So if you're like, man, in the wintertime, it's nice, but man, there's bugs everywhere. Maybe there could be a compromise. Maybe you could find like a reason to like one more than the other, or maybe they're more similar, but nope. You got bugs and hot all the damn time. I did say, man, this this weekend coming up would be a good weekend to go to the springs, but man, springs are way too cold. But it's going to be near 100 degrees. $55-degree water? Oh no. Oh no. And you think, 55. That's not that cold, right? I don't know what it is. When it's in water, it's like twice as cold. Because, 55 degrees, I could wear shorts at 55 degrees. No problem there. But wet? Mm-mm. If I was 9 years old or something like that. But it ain't worth it. Well, we're done with the sides. That wasn't too bad. I'm liking this dark tone. Let's work our way up to the top. I got this one lady across the street. She's from, I've been told she was from Southeast Asia originally. And I don't know what it is about people from Southeast Asia, but they get cold at the drop of a hat. So it'll be these mornings it's like 70 degrees, 72, and she's out riding a bike, completely covered up with a jacket. I mean, I'd be drenched in sweat before I even got outside. That's what's nice about Michigan winters, no bugs. Do you have a lot of ladybugs in Florida? I don't know. I want to say that I used to see them more as a kid, but when you're a kid, I was outside more. Like, I was just talking about this just the other day. We have birds in the back. The old house was run by squirrels. The squirrels were everywhere. They'd chase everything away. The squirrel mafia ran everything. Here the birds run it. And we actually had bluebirds here. Not blue jays, but bluebirds that were living in a little birdhouse last year. And it's the first time I think I had seen bluebirds since I was a kid. But ladybugs? No. No. And they're cute. They're actually one of the ones I don't mind. But you can have a ladybug infestation also, and then you got a problem. But I don't think there's that many ladybugs. I don't hate all bugs, but when we first moved in here, there was a lot of stink bugs. And I actually don't mind stink bugs because, they spray you if you mess with them. So here's the secret. Don't mess with them, right? And they don't look particularly creepy, and they're kind of slow. And, I like things that pests that are slow, because then you could deal with them, right? But ones that are really fast, you can't ever chase them down. But no, I don't think there's a lot of ladybugs here. I did see, and only saw it one time, a cow killer ant, or a velvet ant, even though it's really a wasp, flightless wasp. We have those at work. Never seen one on my own property. Yeah, there's a lot of freaking bugs here in Florida. Way too many. Ladybugs are bad in Michigan. You have stink bugs too. Oh, so you have too many ladybugs, so you can have an infestation. Well, they're supposedly they eat other bugs, right? So they're like good to have around your crops, like tomatoes and things like that. I think. But if you have too many of them, it's like, okay, well now they're the problem too. The problem is if you go outside here, you stink so bad just from the outside smells that you absorb. You smell like an animal. I don't mean BO. I mean just like, you just absorb the smells. Just from being out there a minute. Obviously, the longer you're out there, the worse it is, but ladybug infestation. Too many ladybugs. Aphids. Yeah, aphids are like almost those little transparent little things. I don't know if they're like larvae of something bigger. Yeah, that's a lot. No, no, we don't have anything like that. No, you occasionally see one. I don't think I've. It's pretty infrequent to see more than one together. There's a really funny movie called Ladybugs with Rodney Dangerfield. Yeah, no, you rarely see more than one. Like they're solo artists. Yeah, bug problems like that are interesting in that you won't have any problems at all, and all of a sudden the next day you got like sugar ants galore. They're doing the conga line or something. That hasn't happened here, but I have lived at a place where this line of sugar ants was coming in through the crack of the bathtub between the faucet on the bathtub and the actual bathtub itself. Those tiny little sugar ants. But this is the extent of the decoration that you can see here on all the T-35s. And I got this book Saturday that this guy was definitely had a love affair with this tank and documented where all the surviving T-35s were knocked out with the photographic evidence. And I mean, it's pretty intensive. And that's pretty much it. They either had no decorations on them at all, completely plain, or a red star on them, and the rest played, or a white triangle, and the rest plain, or like these two little white lines with a red star. That's pretty much it. Or this one that has a 14 on it, and no other markings on it. That's pretty damn boring, unfortunately. Pretty darn boring. So he would denote them by the chassis number, which of course is not, it might be written somewhere, but it's not anywhere visible. It might be cast onto some part or something like that. Well, this one's going a hell of a lot faster than the other ones. And I think the reason why is because I'm being a little bit more methodical about it, and this liquid is a lot better. I mean, it's a lot better. It doesn't look a lot better, but it is a lot better. It's it's more gel-like, which means that I put it somewhere and that's where it stays. It sure seems that way. It sure seems that way. So next time I go to the store, I'll probably pick up another couple bottles of this stuff to make sure they don't run out of it. Although unlike Strong Tone, oh, and this isn't the reformulated one. Well, hopefully they don't screw it up with the reformulation. then we got to pick out, this is the one that has a little radio antenna. Off to the Stark Yards. Okay, man. Be well. Have a good day. Hope you don't have too many problems you got to deal with. Too many problems you have to deal with that nobody else wanted to deal with. All right, I'm going to have to stop myself, so appreciate you guys coming by. And we'll see you guys next time. I obviously put way too much of that stuff on. That's good to know that just one little drop goes a long way with this stuff. Much more than an olive oil. All right, folks.